Welcome to GovCast. I am your host, Managing Editor Amy Kluber. USDA's IT shop has been a model office across government. It was the first agency to partner with GSA's IT Modernization Centers of Excellence, and has since transitioned 4 of those initiatives to sustain ongoing efforts, things like cloud adoption and data center consolidation, among others. With a vision to do right and feed everyone, the agency's CIO, Gary Washington, has a mission to support all the tech advancements across the nation for farmers, especially in rural areas, trade, food safety, and more. Washington discusses the importance of automation, considering the vast amount of data the agency collects, plus how his background in the military and other agencies are informing his ongoing priorities. This episode is sponsored by Dell Technologies and Ironbow Technologies.
I'm Eric Barnes, Regional Sales Director at Dell Technologies. IT leaders in the federal government are increasingly raising issues of infrastructure, remote working, electronic data sharing, and more. Dell Technologies is listening and taking action. As a technology partner of the United States Department of Agriculture, Dell has worked with CIO Gary Washington and his leadership team to support and enable their diverse mission. We're excited to hear from Mr. Washington during this unique time to gather a glimpse into how the agency is handling the task of being the White House's lighthouse agency for modernization.
Gary, it's so nice to have you. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So, Gary, what first attracted you to working in the government technology sector?
I've been working in IT since I was in the Air Force. I've always loved information technology. So after I got out of the Air Force, I kept it up as a profession and went to private industry. Then I was attracted to working in the federal government. I wanted to make a difference. So I've been pursuing this as an entire career.
That seems like a common theme, of course, being in the Air Force that's serving your country. And I guess now you're continuing to serve your country kind of in a different way, technologically.
Yes.
How has the role of the CIO changed over your career that you've noticed?
As I've noticed, the role of the Chief Information Officer has become a more strategic position. It is more about, visioning and partnership, throughout the organization. I think most CIOs now have an actual seat at the table, if you will, in terms of making decisions for the entire organization versus being more tactical, back office kind of activities that it was initially in the past.
Do you think your experience in the Air Force has influenced how you're approaching the USDA's technological challenges?
I think it has. I think I apply a lot of what I learned in the military from a, visioning and strategic planning perspective, in an overall program and project management perspective in what I do on a day-to-day basis now. So I've definitely taken some of those disciplines and I've applied them over my career in the federal government. And, coincidentally, a lot of those very things that I learned early on are really management priorities for the federal government as well.
Now, taking into account your experience, you've been, of course, the Air Force and then now at USDA, but you've been at a number of other positions across government. In your career, what has been the challenge of moving to different cultures that exist in each of these agencies?
Well, whenever you go from one agency to another, each agency that I've gone to has been extremely different. And one of the challenges is adapting to the culture that you're in. And then you have to think about how you can be successful in that different agency. So for whatever reason, I've been very fortunate that I've been able to work with people, break down stovepipes and be collaborative in different environments and learn from the environments that I've been in.
What was something you learned in your past experiences that you apply to some of the challenges today at USDA?
Well, I learned to listen. You have to be a good listener. You have to be a good partner. I think you need to be honest and transparent. Those are things that work for me wherever I've gone. And I've been able to be, successful, just by being a good partner, a good team member, listening to my customers, making sure that I provide a solution and not always talk about what the problems are going to be. And my business partners have been very receptive to that. Just being a leader.
How important are partnerships to USDA, taking into account some of your priorities technologically? How important are those partnerships?
Partnerships are very important. USDA has 22 staff offices and agencies and a very diverse missions across USDA. And I think, people in my position need to understand that everybody has different needs and they have a different point of view. And, you need to establish credibility with your customers and make sure that they understand that, you're here to help them and that you're going to deliver to them what they need. So, establishing that good business partnership is instrumental, I think, in the success of any IT organization.
And USDA has been described as kind of the lighthouse agency for the White House's IT modernization goals. What does that mean exactly?
Well, being a lighthouse organization has meant that actually in the president's management agenda, IT modernization is one of the cross-agency goals. And we were the first agency to take that on. So we took all of the centers of excellence that they were offering at the time, and we implemented them across USDA. So, we work very closely with individuals in the White House and the General Services Administration to set this up, implement these centers of excellence. And actually right now, we're sustaining the solutions that we put in place. So it was an honor to do that. And right now, USDA is a leader on the President's Management Agenda's IT modernization goal.
Wow, that's great. So USDA's vision is, do right and feed everyone. How do you think this vision fits into some of the IT priorities, like technologically? How does that work?
Well, it fits into the do right part, absolutely.
Right.
And you could argue feed everyone. We are more involved than ever from an IT perspective in digitizing USDA. Our secretary has made it very clear that, he wants to enable the mission by using automation and digitizing this department. And not only have we been successful in modernizing our back office systems such as email and other activities, but we've partnered with our business partners to deliver functionality to our customers out in the field. So we've experienced many benefits from that. Our customers are happy and pleased to see that we're addressing their needs to exchange data with them in an automated fashion and provide services in an electronic manner.
And that capability is really important for USDA, especially with your capabilities being so sparsely located around the country. Can you go into that as far as how that has been playing out, especially during this pandemic when everyone is teleworking and remotely? How important is data sharing to carry out the mission while we're all dealing with this pandemic?
Well, data sharing is very important, but as people have worked remotely, the business of USDA has not stopped. So we've worked very hard to make sure that the experience that they have in home or wherever they're working from remotely is the same as or better than the one that they actually have in the office. And we take a lot of pride in making sure that we're doing our part, that USDA doesn't skip a beat. So, there's obviously you have people in remote locations that may not have access to internet or those kinds of things. But, where we can, and that's the majority of USDA, we've been very successful in providing IT services to them.
What would you say has been one of your biggest challenges so far?
Well, one of my biggest challenges is taking us into the 21st century, obviously, in doing that, keeping our mission needs in mind and being able to serve our customers, all 100,000 of them.
Wow.
And making sure that we support a very diverse, population, not just diverse in terms of their mission, but, geographically diverse workforce. So that's a real challenge for the CIO, making sure that, everybody has what they need at their fingertips using information technology.
Now, USDA has quite a bit of involvement in, spreading the wealth of knowledge, I should say. It was the first agency to be designated by GSA as a center of excellence, and its CDO recently is chairing the Federal Data Council. How has such collaborations transformed your work, or informed some of your work?
Well, I'm a big believer in cross-government collaborations and activities. I don't really think that, you should confine yourself from an IT perspective, just to insular activity. You should reach out where you can. So our collaboration with the Centers of Excellence was great. It proved that this concept of modernizing an entire department and working cross-agency can work and does work. Our presence on the CDO Council, our Chief Data Officer, Ted Kalk, he's been doing a lot of cross-government work with different departments in terms of exchanging data visualization. And now we're having a role in making sure that, not just USDA makes informed decisions based on data, but, we assist other agencies with that as well. And in addition to that, I work on cyber. We've been partnering with agencies on our cybersecurity operations to ensure that, we strengthen our security posture here at USDA, as well as assisting others in situations where we can.
Do you think the USDA is unique in any way, compared to other agencies as far as some of the initiatives you're tackling, especially with data sharing? Would you say USDA is unique?
I don't think we're unique. I think all agencies are doing these things. There's a lot of great work going on in other agencies. I think through our partnerships and collaborations, we got a jump start on a lot of things. And as we take this journey, we've been sustaining what we've implemented. We have more of a focus on improving the customer experience and customer delivery. So I don't think we're unique, but I think it's, through the vision of our leadership, we've implemented a lot of great things here, and we've gotten a jump start in many areas. And we have been sharing across government where we can.
Now, you've also been a proponent toward adopting RPA technologies. And I think that's kind of interesting to me, especially how you guys use that. What's your biggest concerns with that technology?
Well, obviously, my biggest concerns is the cybersecurity portions of that technology. At least that was one of my biggest concerns. But our chief information security officers work very hard to put controls in place to secure robotic process automation bots here in USDA. So we're very happy about that.
And in what areas are you seeing it's being most effective?
Well, actually, I'm seeing it be most effective in a couple of areas. We initially started with our administrative areas and investigating bots, but now we're having a lot of success in our programmatic areas as well, in terms of actually using bots to find efficiencies and cost savings in mission programs.
Other than the mass influx in telework, have you seen any impact with the coronavirus drastically changing other IT business practices?
Well, I can only assume that that's going to happen. But what I have seen is that people now seem to be comfortable with the fact that they can work remotely across USDA. I've seen a drastic increase in the use of collaboration tools, such as, Microsoft Teams and SharePoint and other teams, collaboration platforms across USDA. So, people really seem to be comfortable when they have to working remotely across USDA, given that we're in just about in every county in the United States and we have an international presence. So it's been a sight to see what we've done in this current environment.
Certainly is a sight to see and hear, especially as we are, recording remotely this interview.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of a challenge for everybody across the board. Do you see any of the, lessons learned that you guys are going through right now lasting long term?
I do. I see some areas where, we've learned some lessons in this in terms of supporting a totally remote community. And I think there's been some lessons learned in terms of understanding what people can and in some cases cannot do in a remote environment. So we'll take those back and we'll apply what we've learned and possibly make some changes to how we operate given the different working situations.
Now, going back to the Centers of Excellence with GSA, how are you seeing that partnership continuing? What kinds of projects do you anticipate getting to collaborate on?
The Centers of Excellence was a 2-year engagement with GSA, and that 2 years is, quite frankly, is up. But the concept itself has not changed. And we have continued a lot of what we started with them in the different Centers of Excellence, such as modernizing our contact centers, cloud adoption, closing our data centers, providing digitized environments for our customers, those kinds of things. So the concept of those centers of excellence have continued to influence what we do moving forward.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And I'm sure they would love to hear that as well. How have you seen IT transform the agency since you've been a part of it?
Well, I've been the USDA CIO for approximately 2.5 years. And in my 2.5 years, there's been rapid change. I think the most transformation I've seen is in the area of data analytics. There seems to be a great demand for data analytics across USDA. Through our data analytics program, people are making informed decisions using standard solutions we put in place across USDA. Another area that's been transformational is our transition to the cloud and our closures of data centers, which have gone hand in hand. 2 weeks from now, all but 2 of our data centers will be closed. and people are transitioning to their applications and their systems to public cloud and our cloud solution provider at NISI, at our National Information Technology Center. So as a department, we have, in a very short period of time, have made a lot of progress in moving towards more modern emerging solutions and using those for our day-to-day business. And we made some technological improvements in our cybersecurity realms as well by adopting the CDM tools the way we have and automating a lot of our practices using RPA.
Interesting. How has the CDM capability been going?
Well, that's been going really well. Our Chief Information Security Officer has been leading the charge on that. She's very firm on using the DHS tools and addressing the practices that have been put in place using those tools. So that's been going very well. We're in the midst of entering phase 3. We're entering the tools of phase 2 and addressing the phase 3 activities as well right now.
And considering emerging technologies, I know we just discussed RPA, for example, but considering other technologies like maybe AI, what do you see most promising for the federal government at large?
I think at large, the application of artificial intelligence tools is one thing. The continuing adoption of robotic process automation, developing in the cloud using platform as a service, which is really not emerging, but it's something that's being of more use, and overall digitization of your mission activities, especially where it is in remote areas.
Can you go into that a little bit more as far as some of the remote areas and the capabilities that you guys are looking to do?
We service rural America, and all the farmers and foresters and scientists and ranchers out there, there's a community that would like to engage with us in a digital fashion. So we are trying to provide our customers with the option of, being serviced from USDA, whether that be in person or electronically, and we have the capacity to do that right now. Those are the things we put in place where that was not always the case. So we're making a lot of strides in being able to exchange data electronically, be able to, like when you go to provide a service at an ATM machine, we would like that same kind of improved customer service here at USDA using technology.
Wow, that's great. Well, Gary, thank you. This was a great conversation. I was happy to learn more about some of the collaborations you're working on and the IT priorities that are ahead at USDA. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again to our sponsors, Dell Technologies and Iron Bow Technologies.
Hello, I'm Jim Smid, Chief Technology Officer for Iron Bow Technologies. We're a solutions provider focused on the federal government. And we've really been working closely with the USDA and other agencies on things like cloud adoption, consolidation, and data center modernization. We really look for solutions that will help provide a basis for a multi-cloud environment and to drive efficiencies throughout those architectures, driving security and other components into it. And in today's day and age, how do you support remote workers and do so in an effective and secure manner? We've done quite a few things with not only USDA, but also other federal agencies. And if you're looking to get more information on any of this, you can go to ironbow.com. Thank you.
GovCast is a production of Government CIO Media and Research. For more podcasts, head to governmentcio.com/podcasts. If you liked what you hear, let us know by leaving us a review in iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. GovCast is produced by Amy Kluber. Theme music provided by Big Hoax. If you're interested in sponsoring a podcast, contact us at sponsor@governmentcio.com.